man. Hello, John. Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
How's it
Hey,
going?
Julio,
How you been?
our producer, editor, etc., etc.
Yeah. Grand Poobah, Super Kame Guru, I guess.
Little
I
green,
love
big
the
green.
name Grand Poobah. I don't know what that's from. I'm sure it's from
I
like
think
a
it's
million
from
things.
like the Shriners, but I'm not sure if they like took it from somewhere else.
Maybe.
Mhm.
Anyway, welcome to
They
Scrub Mode.
appropriated it.
I think this is the earliest Google we've had on the show. Grand Poobah.
Poobah. I'm pretty sure it's spelled P-U-B-A.
Yes.
No,
P-U-B-A-H.
C-O-O.
B-A. Poobah.
Yeah, this is not helpful. It's from Gilbert and Sullivan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, welcome to
And the
Scrub Mode, the
Flintstones.
podcast that sits at the intersection of gaming and monsters. We just
That's-
introduced ourselves.
Yeah.
I had
How's
to
it
go to the
going,
DMV
guys?
today. I survived, so that's nice. Made it out there alive. Anyway,
DMV
One
is
driving
like,
license.
like
Stronger.
yeah,
DMV is like landing a plane. Like anytime you can walk away, it's a
Yeah.
good one.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good DMV
Yeah.
trip.
Oh man, but yeah, welcome to our little podcast that we do. We're gonna talk about some D&D some more. We're
That's
going
right.
down the monster manual.
We were gonna do Super Soldiers, but we had somebody who wants to hop in, so that one's gonna get a little bit postponed. But the script is done.
Hooray!
Yeah. But in the meantime, we're gonna go through. I think it's essentially the last of the E's. Now that we're through
Ooh.
like those D's, the devils and the demons and the dragons, we are picking up speed.
These.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
these
man.
monsters.
Just wait till Alan. We'll get to the dreaded Ligma.
The link. Oh man, that's a real thing. That's a monster.
No, fuck.
You got me.
Yeah. Ligma isn't a real monster. But
I
still
remember
God,
when Steve Jobs died of Ligma.
Who the
Yeah?
fuck is Steve Jobs?
No, wait, it wasn't Steve Jobs. It was
It was Steve Jobs.
You ruined. I did the bit. You didn't follow through.
Yeah, you didn't follow through.
Ligma balls. I think it's funnier when it doesn't land.
Yeah, that's why the bit's funny because
Yeah,
the
that's why
person's
it's
like,
even
did you hear Steve Jobs died of Ligma? And the punchline is like Ligma balls, but
Yeah.
the second person in that bit
But
is
Rorschach
like, who's
responds
Steve
with, "Who the-"
Jobs? And so it doesn't land.
It's just
And the
another
first person-
iteration of that one
And then the
joke.
first person obliterates them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another
They just power
iteration of that
through.
one joke. And it's like, oh man, what's with all this up dog? You know?
Yes, yeah.
That's a good one.
The wordplay is gonna be is actually kind of weirdly relevant, but we'll get there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. All right. So
Who's
Can't
the
wait till we
first
get
one?
to the S's.
I forgot
Who's the
this
first
one.
monster?
I forgot this monster was in the book. I have never personally used them. It wasn't until I was like, oh fuck, we skipped it. I started writing the second half of the script, and I was like, oh fuck, I skipped a monster. I gotta go back. Have you guys ever heard of
We have to.
an Empyrean?
Empyrean?
Empyreans.
Yeah.
No, are they
I've
like?
Heard it used, but I don't know what it's referring to.
Are they
Do you
like
want me to
people
use
from
it in a sentence?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Empyreans are a lot like demigods.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
so they're,
Oh, is that what they are?
they're
Are
like
they
a
like
higher being-ish?
they're like deities?
Yeah, let me read the description to you. So like these are beautiful, powerful, near divine creatures who
That's
are
it.
prone to incredibly
They're like
strong
angels.
emotions and are fathered by gods.
They sound like muses. The muses.
Yeah, I could see a muse thing there. I'm landing on demigod because so many of the demigods are like Zeus turned into a goose. Did
Yeah.
the nasty
The
with my
Zeus
mom.
goose?
Now I'm here. I'm half god.
Yeah.
So like godparents, but you're not a god reads to me as
Right.
demigod. But like
Right,
I can
right.
see nymphs and muses and all the weird demigod shit. Anyway, the brand new the 5th edition. This
You know,
is our first new
that
monster.
always like threw me for a loop.
Huh.
Like, why did Zeus always like hook up with women, but then like in the form of an animal? What's up with that, Zeus?
I think it was a challenge, right? Because he's the king of gods. he could just show
Like-
up and make people fall in love with him, but he's like,
I guess so.
I'm gonna be a tree this time and see if she goes for it. See if I can be the
Like-
hottest.
Like, is that? Do you think he's just like? Was it like it was a challenge for him because he's like, if I'm just like in my human form, I'm too hot and like ripped, and like that's too
Yeah.
easy for me to pick up women. Like maybe if I'm like a rock, someone would like refuse me.
Yeah.
But then like if they were, but then like. What if it was the opposite, where like Zeus is like, "Man, I really love humanity because they're in some weird shit."
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
like, I don't want to burst that bubble, but in a lot of the stories, like, the women are running from Zeus, and he's like,
Yeah.
honk, honk.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of
Gotcha.
a psychopathic
He's kinda weird.
rapist. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
I was dancing
weren't
around
a lot
it.
of
You
those
just came out and
stories.
said it.
Yeah, I know. I did. I don't want to beat around the bush with Zeus.
No, you're completely correct. It obviously sexual assault is not funny, but how many times in Greek myths he turns into something weird to perform sexual assault? It's just a weird pattern. But we're
Weird.
not talking about Zeus.
Weird that this guy had cults devoted to him.
Yeah. I mean,
guess.
like,
They thought he was cool, I guess.
I guess so.
I mean, I think he was just like the king of the gods. So it was just like, that's
Yeah.
how kings are. What you gonna do? I hate
Yeah.
them, but
And a lot of the stories were lost too, weren't they? I think.
yeah, I'm not a
'Cause of
Greek
the-
scholar, but like, due
'Cause
to
of
the,
the,
nature of religion and the fact that Greece was like 100 different, like every different valley had its own culture, and
Mm.
as we've talked about before, Greece is mostly shitty, harsh mountains and valleys.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different cultures, all with religions that overlap but weren't similar. So like, we only have the fragments that survived and were collected and written down.
Right.
So it's all.
Yeah, what if
it's,
there was like a village that really liked Zeus?
Yeah,
But then like the majority of them are just like, nah, Zeus was just, he was just fucked up. He just like.
do you
messing
think
with
Zeus was
people.
like? It's like liking Pikachu. It's too popular because like Athens' patron god was Athena. Sparta, who Sparta's way overhyped, but Sparta's patron god was Ares. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure Thebes. I have to double check, but I,
I mean,
don't know if
it
anyone's
makes sense.
patron
God
god
of
was
War.
Zeus. Was he too vanilla? Is that why
Maybe.
everyone was
Maybe.
like?
Or maybe
They're
it
like,
was
he's too
like
powerful.
maybe like the capital, you know? Oh no, did we lose John?
Who knows?
Oh,
Yeah, he's still here.
oh no, I see. Okay, never mind.
We're going to the knuckle cam, folks, because my other camera sucks.
That's
Oh
fine.
yeah,
That's
the
fine.
knuckle cam.
No one will
Classic.
see this anyway. This is all just for us.
But, I mean, I'm just saying, it's just like in that case, yeah, Zeus is like Pikachu, where it's just like he throws lightning, he's too powerful, he's too cool.
I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, like, what was lost
Me,
to time?
I'm a Hephaestus sliver.
I know that kills me. Like, think about the
What?
Library of Alexandria.
Oh,
yeah, like what
like-
if I
What
could
if
time travel?
that
I'd go
didn't
back
get
to
blown
that.
up?
Or like the oldest board game known to man, the Royal Game of Ur. Like, we think we have rules, but like any board game, we're not sure like what is canon, what's house rules, and what's
Yeah.
changed over time. Like,
Mhm. I guess with the
You don't know
traditions
if
that
it's like
people
the
had,
Uno
you know,
rule.
yeah.
yeah, it could have varied. Could have definitely varied. Wow.
Does Ian Nasir have weird house rules, or is this the way the game is supposed to be played? We
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah, were they
Hmm.
really serious players or were they just casual board game
Yeah.
owners?
We'll
Were
never
there-
Was
know.
it just one of their nights?
I say this as I'm not a weird board game person. I'm friends with many weird board game people. Obviously, if you listen to this podcast, you know I'm a weird tabletop game person instead.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
like, were there weird board game couples in ancient Babylon? Probably.
I'd like
Yeah.
to think so. I'd like to
Yeah,
think so.
I'd like to think there was. They're
Yeah, they're just
inviting us over again to play the game of life.
Anyway, where were we? Empyreans. Oh
yeah,
man,
Empyreans.
just because they're related to
Silly
gods,
demigods.
they feel emotions real strong. When they're happy, the sun comes out and plants bloom. When they're sad, it rains. And when they're angry, oh my god, it's natural disasters.
I see.
When they're angry, hellfire. Hellfire
Yeah.
everywhere.
I like that.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Weirdly, the monster manual says they're almost always good, which, you know,
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I feel like
It means
I feel
they
like
do
that
it for good.
I feel like that sort of seals the deal that when they wrote this, they had Hercules in mind because like
Hmm.
they're not thinking about like all the other demigods, like all of Ares' weird children that just die on battlefields.
Mm-hmm. Right. They're
That's
just
where they want to be, okay?
Yeah.
So what if their prerogative is to die on the battlefield? That's
okay,
just
well,
them.
If your dad is shitty war god, okay. Boy, this is a tangent. WWE superstar The Edge is going to be Ares in the new Percy Jackson movie, and that is just perfect casting.
It does sound pretty great.
I
Yeah.
like get a big, ripped, emotionally damaged blonde dude to be Ares. It's good. I like wrestlers. More wrestlers in acting roles, please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let them break the kayfabe for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them do other kayfabes.
Exactly. Which is just acting, but
So I think a fun thing though is the monster manual notes that like every once in a while they like you'll get lawful evil ones or chaotic evil ones who are just like, I'm here to ruin shit for my daddy. I'm here to become an immortal tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
they just absolutely there to just start shit.
An
Right.
undying god king.
Right.
They're the child that shows up to the Thanksgiving dinner they weren't invited to.
Oh my god. Powerful energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Stats wise, these guys are not super exciting. They are CR 23. So
Oh god.
they are just some of the toughest things you will ever encounter in the game.
I see.
They're the ones you don't want like to show up at any point.
Yeah, I mean at CR 23, like they one I mean like high level D&D parties are broken, you know, action economy yada yada, but theoretically just one would be able to handle a full group party of level 20, which is the max level adventures.
Hmm.
And what's like full group, like 4 or 5?
4 or 5, depending on who you ask.
Okay.
I mean, they got moves, I assume.
Yeah, they got moves. Listen, in addition to weirdly being able to swim and fly, in addition to walking, they have a pretty devastating melee attack, and they can throw bolts of any elemental damage they want.
That's
so they can do like lightning bolt,
firebolt,
bolt,
firebolt,
firebolt.
yeah, find your weakness and fucking smack you.
wind bolt, bludgeoning bolt, slashing bolt.
Well, elemental, so no slashing bolt.
I know, not
that
weapon
does sound
type,
like
but...
like a 2 red magic card.
Oh yeah, for real.
There's no tricks here. Their legendary actions include buffing friends, creating an earthquake, or doing a Hulk-style floor slam. Like, they are
they
just a
can
big
just
ball of
suplex you.
stats.
They can just suplex you.
Yeah. I wish they had
suplex you with a
that.
finger. They go.
That'd be awesome.
As somebody who just who like loves kaiju movies, the suplex,
Yeah,
it's top tier, man. That's a good finisher.
that's great.
It's a powerful
I'd love
finisher.
if it was just like the Empyrean makes a grapple check. If you fail this check, your ass gets suplexed. Take 1 million spine damage.
Take 1 million brain and spine damage.
Yeah.
Speaking of kaiju, fucking, did you see Godzilla -1?
No,
I
I'm
didn't
dying
see
to.
it
It's not in any theaters here yet. Oh,
it was incredible.
that's what
man.
everyone's telling me.
Oh,
man.
it's so fucking rad.
It's like one of
Were
the
you in
highest
that
rated...
friend group that was invited? I was invited too, like at the last
You were
minute.
invited. Yeah.
At the last minute, but I wasn't able to go because of work.
Yeah. No,
I see.
yeah.
I see.
Can I have you seen the Godzilla X Kong? Which, by the way, that
Yeah,
not
that
that I'm
trailer?
against it, but that title makes it sound like you're shipping them.
it does. It sounds like we're gonna be
people
friends.
already are. You know, people
Yeah.
already are.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I've been very vocal about the fact that I ship Mothman with the Braxton County Monster, so I don't think this is too different. Hey, why is
So I was
Louis
like,
C.K.
I was
the
like, I had
bad
no
guy in
place
that
to talk.
movie?
Huh?
Hmm?
Why is Louis C.K. the bad guy in that movie?
Sometimes you just gotta pit a giant ape and a giant lizard against a giant pervert. But it is interesting that like the enemies are like a tribe of mega orangutans.
Yeah, of evil Kongs. They look like. Do you guys remember Primal Rage at all?
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do remember.
It looks
Primal
like the
Rage.
evil monkey from Primal Rage. Like it's the same shade of red. It's very
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But these are like they got reach over Kong, you know?
Yeah.
They got the orangutan arm, you know?
Yeah.
They got the Dalzim punch.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. I have, you know, it's funny because, like, Godzilla -1 kind of set a high bar for me. So now I have gripes with Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Godzilla cross Kong.
I think. I mean, have we talked about this before? But like, there is a thesis that Godzilla is like a Batman style character because, like, you can have your Adam West Batman coexist and be as culturally impactful and valid as you can. You're like,
It's like
Frank Miller, Robert Pattinson Batman, who is
That's
very
true.
dark.
Yeah.
And I think
or
Godzilla
your,
exists the
Christian
same way.
Bale.
I agree.
I mean, that's fair.
You can have
It's
Goofy,
different
friend of the
flavors.
children. Godzilla's got to tunnel into the Hollow Earth so he can save King Kong against Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you can have like your Shin Godzilla. Like, this is hello, I'm Hideki Anno. This is a deliberate metaphor for my own depression in the face of climate change and how frustrated I am at the Japanese government for failing to do anything about the Fukushima reactor disaster.
Wow.
This is Godzilla being in constant writhing pain is me.
Yeah, it's me. For real, it's me, Hideki Anno.
Godzilla is all
Pointing at most things he creates.
Just black background, white text quote Hideki Anno's face. For real, he's
It's
me.
like there's a little bit of Godzilla in us all.
I mean,
fantastic.
Have you seen those concept arts where he becomes like he starts offspringing irradiated human like bodies?
Is that
And
for
they're like-
Shin Gojira?
Yeah.
Yes, in Godzilla.
I
yeah.
see. I
One of
still
the-
haven't
one of the
seen Shin
concepts.
Gojira.
Oh, you gotta, especially if you're gonna go see.
Yeah.
Maybe not actually. I don't know. I guess Ryan can tell you because I haven't actually seen it. But isn't -1 in the Shin continuity?
It's hard to say because like it's definitely like a sort of prequel in terms of like this predates like original Godzilla's airing. So it's like this is like the first ever contact with Godzilla. But like there is also like Godzilla in this one has like powers of like other Godzillas, but is also wholly unique. So
Okay.
it's interesting because like it's got the immense regenerative factor, right? It can rebuild itself like biologically.
Wow.
Yes.
In like a rapid pace. So it's kind of Shin Godzilla-esque, but it's like not in constant pain.
I
All
see.
right.
It's like it's all together and it knows what it's doing.
I'm stoked. I could talk about kaiju and kaiju theory all day.
Yeah.
But one thing is prevalent. It hates everyone still.
Yeah.
Godzilla
Yeah.
hates everybody.
I would too, man. I love giant monsters, man. I can't wait. Maybe we'll talk
Same.
about them more one time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue.
Anyway, they have a spell list with some big spells like Earthquake, which makes a whole ass earthquake, Firestorm, which makes a whole ass firestorm, and Plane Shift, which lets them go home to mom and dad to ask for help in smiting you. So yeah, big bad.
Which summons a CR30 god.
Yeah, right.
That just goes, how dare
you picking on my kid?
My dad can beat your dad.
So yeah, transitioning into like inspirations, we're like, this is very clearly somebody wanted Hercules to be an enemy you could fight. The art looks like Hercules in the book, but everybody knows Hercules. We've talked about Hercules before, so I thought like let's talk about a demigod who you probably have heard of, but you probably don't know a lot about. And I'm talking about fucking Maui from Polynesian culture. You guys know any Maui stories?
No.
No.
All right. Prepare yourselves.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Here we go.
So like many folk, this is, by the way, the Maui from Moana. Like it's the same.
Okay.
Dude.
Well,
They
I
were
know
just
that.
like- yeah, that's why I'm like, you've heard of him, but you probably don't know shit about him.
Yeah. He's like a huge hero, right?
Yeah, he's a demigod. He's a cultural hero. So
You
like you got your
shapeshift and stuff
Herculeses,
too, right?
you know, you have, but he's also a trickster god like Coyote or Anansi, and you know, like or like
Anansi.
He's
I
very
remember
full of himself.
Anansi.
Yeah.
at least in the movie. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he
sang that song.
I mean, spoiler for the end, but like his Hymartia, his like tragic flaw is his hubris, so that's spot on. So his gods have lots of names. So in addition to like Maui and various variations of that, the Maori, who I'm like most familiar with of the Polynesian cultures, their name for him is Te Whare Kino, which means like Maui of the House of Troubles, because like he's always up to shit. He's always starting shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing something.
He's doing something.
He's always he's handed many soups.
Many soups, yeah. We as
fingers and many pies.
We as humans love him because he keeps fucking with big bads to get us shit. He's great. Okay, so
just shows up and he just bullies villains.
Yeah, exactly. He bullies monsters and gods to get us shit, so that we'll praise him. The Disney movie kind of got that right. So in the Maori origin story, at least, he was born as a preemie.
Okay.
And sort of in like his mother in grief cut off her top knot. You know how a lot of Polynesian cultures have the top knot. She cut it off, she wrapped him in it, she threw him in the ocean. Which is what you were supposed to do. He would have drowned and died, but instead the sea was like, oh no, I hear your prayer, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a Clifford situation. I'm gonna make him not die and grow up super big and strong.
Okay.
We'll make him huge, bro.
Yeah. So the ocean spirits use seaweed and jellyfish to protect him, and they put him back on land, where eventually his grandfather finds him and nurses him back to health. And like we said, he grows up huge, and also thanks to the gifts of the ocean spirits, he's now he's got all the demigod shit you'd expect, but most importantly,
powerful.
He's unusually smart.
Ooh. Super intelligent.
Yeah.
He went to the gym and the library.
Yeah, exactly. He can do both. Ladies, get you someone who can do both.
Yeah.
So in one of the in a Maui story from Hawaii, the legend goes like Maui loves birds. Birds are great, which if you've ever been to a tropical place, I don't know.
Birds are great.
Yeah, they're pretty. They make good songs.
Shit. Yeah.
But for some reason, I haven't been able to find. Before Maui came along, birds were invisible.
Okay.
So all the humans, including Maui's parents, are like, we love to hear those beautiful sounds in the morning, but we don't know what's making them.
no idea.
Maui's a god, a demigod, so he can see the birds, and he's like, you can't. That's so sad. You humans can't see how pretty birds are. You can only hear them. I'm gonna fix that.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I got you guys. You need to enjoy what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So like it varies from story to story. Some stories he just scares them into not being invisible anymore. Other stories he throws powders or stuff like that, or gets potions or tricks a god. Doesn't matter. Whatever he does, he makes birds visible. Humans are like, wow, birds are the coolest. Thanks, Maui. And the gods are like, you fucked up, dude. The birds were only supposed to be for us, man.
Oh no.
The birds were ours, bro.
But because Maui is so clever, he manages to talk himself out of trouble.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, now we can see birds.
What a power.
Yeah. So every time you see your parrot, Julio, you better thank Maui. Because otherwise that dude would be invisible.
That'd be crazy.
You better thank Maui for this.
Yeah.
Thank you,
He did
Maui.
so much for you.
Thanks, Maui.
Yeah. In another story that's sort of like the Hawaiian or the Samoan version of Prometheus, Maui steals fire from the gods.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get his organs eaten.
No, he makes out pretty good. Check this out. So like,
Cool.
in this version of the story, his dad is a god, and his dad has to like every day. His dad has to go into the underworld to make sure nobody's doing any shit. There's no prison breaks or nothing like that, right? And so he has to get into the underworld. He has to go up to a rock and say, "Oh, rock, divide, for I am Talaga. I come to work on my land." Yada yada yada. And so Maui is like, "Dad, take me with you to work," and he's like, "No, dude, I gotta go to hell." No. And so fed up and being a trickster dude, Maui waits in a bush and spies on his dad and hears him say the magic open sesame catchphrase. And then
once his dad goes into the underworld, he waits a few minutes, and then he goes up to the Rock, says the magic catchphrase, and the Rock is like, "Hey, weren't you here today already?" And now he's like, "Bruh, I'm your boss. Let me in." He's like, "Okay, sorry." And so Maui's like, "Sweet, I'm in the underworld. I broke into the underworld."
Like,
Stupid Rock.
Idiot. Letting me into the underworld?
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
But while wandering around the underworld, his dad quickly noticed that there was a human, there was a demigod, a living dude running around the underworld, and he's like, "Oh, this can't be good."
He's like, oh,
so
shit.
He quickly catches up to Maui and was like, "Hey, bud, I really didn't want you to come here for a reason. It's super dangerous. I have to finish my work here. I'll lead you out afterwards. But for now, please be extremely careful and quiet. Otherwise, you'll bother Mafuie, who is the god of earthquakes and volcanoes and shit, and you'll die. So just please, please, please be quiet. Don't ruin this for everyone." And Maui's like, "Bet." Maui,
I'll do you one better.
Maybe an early neuroatypical, I don't know, immediately saw some smoke and fire and got distracted and went over to this big smoking fire thing.
He's like, "Oh yeah, smoke and fire."
Yeah, so he saw this extremely large, powerful entity playing with the smoke and the fire, and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck is that?" And the entity, who of course was like the volcano and earthquake god, Mafuie, was like, "I should smite you, but like, it's pretty brave of you to come up to me and ask. So, you know what? Here you go. Here's a little bit of fire. Don't spend it all in one place and leave me alone. I got earthquakes and volcanoes to do." Yeah.
He ran up to a guy who's doing his job, and he's like, "Yo, what's that?" And he's all like, "You know what? Here, kid. Little candy."
I admire your spunk.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Anyway, so like Maui was like being an extra clever guy, being super smarty. He was like, "Hey, I can take the fire, apply it to coals, and make more fire, and I can use that fire to cook to heat up a stone oven to cook taro and make tasty food for everybody." So he invented cooking.
He invented. Wow, thank you, Maui.
Yeah, and gave us fire. Yeah, right.
Thank God.
That's pretty great.
But
love
Mafuie
cooked
saw
food.
this and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck? Fire's only supposed to destroy shit. What are you doing?"
Why are you creating things that are delicious? I'm just more clever, bro.
Yeah. So how dare Maui misuse fire like this? So Mafuie gets up, he destroys the stone oven, he scatters the coals, he blows the fire out, and he's like, "I'm gonna smite you." But unfortunately, Maui got hands.
Oh, of course he does.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go? You want to go? You want to go?
So Maui doesn't just beat Mafuie, he rips a god's arms off and beats him with them.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It's like that episode of Primal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Or Beowulf, or yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you if Maui had a t-shirt, that was the point where he took off the t-shirt.
Yeah, oh for sure.
Wow.
So yeah, Maui kicks this god's ass, and the god is like, "Please stop beating me up. I'll give you 100 wives."
Please,
And Maui's like,
give me my
"No,
arms
brah,
back."
you ruined my cookout," and he keeps beating him with his arms.
He really is
and then
the epitome
Mafuie
of,
is like,
"You
"Okay,
messed up my
okay."
backyard barbecue, bro.
So then he's like, "Okay, I'll give you the secret of fire. Okay, little did you know, we the gods put fire inside of every tree.
Mhm.
And normally fire can only come out of a tree if we use magic god lightning on them. But if you rub two sticks together in just the right way, you can coax the fire out, which, like, if you've ever been a Boy Scout or, watched the Looney Tunes cartoon, that little friction technique is one of the ways you can, make a campfire if you don't have a lighter, which I think is super clever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
So yes, unlike Prometheus, who is tortured forever, Maui fucking ripped off his attacker's arms.
Right.
And was like, passed on the 100 wives so that he could get fire for all of us.
Wow.
He did the actual opposite of what happened to Prometheus.
Yeah.
Prometheus get disemboweled constantly.
It's
Prometheus
like the Virgin Chad meme where it's like a Virgin Prometheus and Chad Maui.
Oh man.
Let's see what else we got. What other Maui stories we got here? All right, in this one, Maui's mom, who was happily married to like a normal human, was being hit on by a giant evil sea serpent named
Oh
Kualoa.
my god.
Ooh.
And being a giant evil creep, Kualoa woke up one day and was like, "Hey, enough is enough. If she's not going to go on a date with me, I'm just going to kidnap her."
Oh
It's just
man.
the Bowser method, you know.
Yeah.
All villainy, just all roads lead to kidnapping at one point.
Yeah. Let this be a lesson to you, kidnappers. Consent's important.
Yeah. Also,
So-
a big Maui guy was going to show up.
Yeah. So
We haven't got to that part
Kualoa,
yet. What does he do?
yeah, he kidnaps Maui's mom. And he's like, "This is your last chance. Marry me or die." And she's like, "I'm not going to marry you." And he's like, "Cool, I'm going to kill you."
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
When does
What a
Maui
villain
show
thing.
up?
So he's about to kill her, but she calls for help, and Maui, who is on the slopes of Mount, Polynesians, Haleakala,
Mhm.
saw her cry for help, and he used his magic hook, which you might recognize from the Disney movie,
Yeah.
to like surf down to shapeshift and surf down the mountain, and then free his mother. And Kualoa was like, "Bro, come on, what are you doing?" And Maui just threw a bunch of rocks at him.
Wow.
Bro, what are you doing? Bro, oh, bro.
Just fastball.
Yeah. Stay away from my mom!
Did you just shapeshift? What the fuck? Oh.
Oh.
Okay, but the sea monster, eventually retreated into the sea, so everybody thought he was dead. But like any good horror
fantastic.
movie monster, Kualoa came back for one last scare. While Maui's mom was rejoicing and relaxing in the fields, he pushed himself and he crawled onto land and he tried to chase her down.
Oh man.
She took cover in a breadfruit tree and was like, "Maui, help! The sea serpent's creeping on me again." So at this point, Maui pulls out his hook, his limit break is full, he does the Omni Slash, and he cuts
Sick.
Kualoa into a million pieces.
Oh man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so like Kualoa's head became all the fish, his tail became the conger eel, his blood became freshwater eels,
Delicious.
and his body, which was not cut up Omni Slash good enough, became all the sea monsters that still haunt us to this day.
Well, you know, what was it? 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So wait, there were
Pretty
no
good.
fish before this?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can thank Maui.
Okay.
Thank Maui
He
for
chopped
the
up an
delicious
eel
sushi
stalker, and now we have all the good fish. And now we have Pokeballs.
Exactly. However, we still have the sea monsters out there that destroy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't like
you gotta
eels,
take
but
some
like
good with
50-50, you know?
Yeah. Some bad with the good, you know? In
Yeah,
this case,
Silver's
it's
been
like
batting 100, so it's okay.
Yeah. Overwhelming good, you know? 3/4 out of
Birds,
1/4.
the sun, like, there's also legends where, like, he pulls up the Hawaiian Islands, he lassos the sun, so, because the sun used to just move super fast, there weren't daytime, it's just constant monster nighttime, like, overall, he's batting good. I like Maui.
Yeah, Maui's pretty great.
Yeah.
Great hero.
But like all heroes, all including the Greek ones, he's got to die tragically.
Oh no.
But Maui being Maui, you know, he went out like a champ. Being a demigod, he was immortal, but he saw all his human friends dying. He's like, "Bro, mortality fucking sucks. It's so cruel of the gods to make you guys mortal."
Yeah.
And just
what
all
if
I can
I
do
made
is
you-
watch as you slowly die, no matter what. I hate this. I'm gonna go win you immortality.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a
What
big
a
one.
mensch.
Yeah,
It's
right?
it's almost like a Jesus Christy move a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
He's like, "Don't worry, guys. I love you so much. I'm gonna make you live forever."
Yeah. So his friends and family were like, "Hey, bud, probably gonna be really dangerous to steal immortality."
Yeah, that's a big ask. Like,
Yeah, all our souls have to pass through the underworld goddess and goddess of night, Hine Nue Tepo. She's a giant, scary monster goddess.
Love the name.
If you stop us from dying, you'll stop her from eating. It's gonna be bad, bud. Maybe rethink this. But he's like, no, I don't want you guys to die of old age. That sucks. I'm stealing immortality.
But but it is the course of our life.
Yeah. He also pointed out, like, hey, he's kicked the ass of, like, a lot of gods at this point.
Yeah.
Like, smart money's on him, right? Like,
yeah,
I guess so, yeah.
the sun,
always bet on Maui at this point.
the volcano and earthquake god. Like, yeah, Maui's batting close to 100, right? What are the odds he loses this one too?
Oh, man.
So his daughter's like, okay, just be safe. She lives where the sun sets, where the green flash is, where if, like, you've been in the tropics, you know when the sun sets, sometimes there's a big green flash of light.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, depending on which version of the story you read, Maui either takes his 4 mortal brothers or his 4 favorite birds along with him.
Mhm.
And after a big hero's journey, they arrive at Hine Nue Tepo. Again, she's a giant. She has seaweed for hair. She has volcanoes for skin, and she has a mouth like a barracuda.
Wow.
Cool.
Big scary
That's
monster god.
pretty rad.
Yeah.
And like, there's not really a PG way to say this, so I'm just gonna say this. You're gonna see why this was cut out of the Disney version.
Oh, no.
But from between her legs, the heroes saw the glinting of a green stone, and they realized that, like, this was immortality, and the only way to get immortality was climbing up inside of her.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why they would leave that out.
So not expecting this, the brothers and or birds are like, laugh because this idea is funny.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, I can't believe we had to do this.
Their laughter causes her to, like, sort of turn over in her sleep, and he's like, you guys have to not laugh. If you laugh, she'll wake up and I'll die.
Don't laugh. It's
I
not
can't
funny.
believe
Yeah.
I can't believe what did in Maui is immaturity.
Yeah. So he climbs up inside of his ancestor,
Mhm.
but pretty quickly, his youngest brother, or the New Zealand fantail, if it's a bird, sees Maui climbing up inside of a giant vagina made out of volcanoes, and it's like, it's pretty fucking funny, huh?
Yeah,
And he cracks up.
was like,
And so Hine Nue Tepo wakes up, and turns out she has vagina dentata. And so
oh no!
Maui gets chewed up by giant obsidian vagina teeth.
Wow.
Oh,
What a way to
Maui.
go.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so Hine Nue Tepo remains the gateway through which all human souls must pass to
Mhm.
get to the next world. So we're all stuck being mortal. So, like, thanks for trying, Maui. I
Not
guess
trying,
fuck you,
man.
New Zealand fantail.
Yeah,
You ruined it for everyone.
Fuck you, youngest brother. I
Yeah.
get it. It's funny, but come on.
How I guess my, like, what takeaways on Maui, takeaway on the Empyrean.
There's some strange parallels to, like, Western, like,
Yeah.
mythology.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like an Orpheus thing too, like, you gotta go into the underworld to, like,
hmm
instead of rescuing your love, it's like rescuing, immortality, but the
Right.
underworld's a giant woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I also do like the cyclical idea of, like, everyone's born, right? And then also when you die, your soul has to go
You
back through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back through the uterus.
That's one thing, like, I don't know how cool that, I don't know. There's this one, like, deification of femininity in women,
Mm-hmm.
like, in what I remember, this is one quote, I don't know who said this, but, like, the woman is like the portal through which all
Yeah, that's
humanity
exactly.
enter in the universe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know how like, I don't know how I'd feel about that if I were a woman, because it feels like you're kind
A
of,
lot of pressure.
not just that, but at the same time you're kind of diminishing womanhood to, like, the reproductive parts,
Yeah.
in some ways. So it feels like not cool, but still kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a thin line, right? Like you want to respect and honor that, but also like I know not everybody who identifies as a woman experiences that kind of femininity and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
And also you don't want to slide into the weird right-wing thing of like that's all women are good for.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope.
We're not the people. We as three dudes.
Yeah.
I think the people to talk about.
We're not.
But we respect and we understand it.
About it.
Yeah.
For me, though, I feel like, at least in my opinion, I feel like keep all of that in mind.
Yeah.
And like, and you know, at least acknowledge all parts of it that make it important. I think that's a fair. That's a fair swing.
Yeah.
For like a win for women.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just like I get it. I see where it's coming from, but like I understand that there's some flaws.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a sharp right turn to the Ettin, who is just like a two-headed giant.
Two-headed giant.
Sick.
So yeah, it's a like cognate of the word Jotun, which I'm sure you guys recognize from Thor, which just means giant in Norwegian. So it's just like, you know, Jotuns, Jotunheim, there are Ettins.
Going back to Hercules, the Earth Titan.
Yeah.
Earth Titan's got two heads.
He does. Maybe someone at Disney was...
Anyway, go ahead.
What were you going to say about Hercules?
What was that? I was going to say, have you guys seen that movie, The Ritual?
No, I heard it's good.
It's on Netflix. It looks pretty insane.
What's it about?
It's about like it's like a creature feature type of thing, like horror movie, but like the creature is like this supposedly like Norse deity who's like this evil god that rules this forest and has a cult of brainwashed worshippers who like worship her, and she's got like psychic powers and shit, and she takes the form of like an elk, but like a mutated elk with like arms on her
I've seen
face.
that, Jeff. Yeah.
It's a cool monster design. It really is. But yeah, speaking of Jotuns, I just thought of her.
Yeah. It's a cool creature design, man.
It really is. It's great.
Reminds me a little bit of like the bear in Annihilation. Like, one of my favorite movie monsters the last decade.
Yeah.
Annihilation?
Yeah. It's like a bear that ends up killing one of the people. And then because of the way Annihilation works, it takes on some of the features of that person. So it's got like a human skull popping out of the bear skull. And it also steals the person's voice. So they just hear their friend who they saw get taken by a bear calling out from the woods like, "Help me."
Oh man.
And then later you realize it's the sound the bear is making.
Oh man.
It's a very good monster design. Some very tense scenes. Like, I love Annihilation so much. Anyway.
It looks very cool. Very spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing's scary.
Ettins are orc-like giants with two heads. They've been around since first edition. I'm just going to skip right through the raw stuff. Like, they're a giant sack of HP with a multi-attack. That's it. There's almost nothing to these guys.
Nothing else.
Two-headed giant. Is it like extra aware because of its two heads? Yes,
actually. That's its one other ability.
Oh, I knew it.
They have an ability called Wakeful, which means like one head is always awake while the other one sleeps. So they can't be put to sleep. And like they have advantage against being knocked out, blinded, stunned, or deafened because they got two sets of eyes, two sets of ears, two brains.
Yeah.
It's pretty great, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's really funny to me, like the idea though of like you KO one Ettin head, so it's just flopping around. Well, the other Ettin head's like, I'm finally in control of the whole body. This is nice.
The other one's all like, yes! Until he wakes up, I will take full joy of beating you to death.
Yeah. So in D&D lore, the first Ettin was like maybe an orc who was blurst by the demon god Demogorgon of Stranger Things fame, who
of course
in D&D has two heads. To also have two heads.
I see.
And like there is one of the weirdest paragraphs in the entire monster manuals here, where it gives you a detailed like history of Ettin biology, including their like reproductive habits.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Completely necessary. This is world building important.
Like, and it's specific. We include Ettin pregnancy gestation times and stuff like that, like mating
Wow.
rituals. Like somebody really, really cared about Ettin lore and absolutely nothing else.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on here. Like the stats are very boring.
Hmm.
They got the strongest writer.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Why do
I
you
mean,
give me your weirdest monsters?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Anyway, that's like Ettins. Where do Ettins come from outside of D&D?
Where do headings come from outside?
The
I mean,
first-
there are two. What's the first two-headed monster in lore
Oh,
that
that's a
we
good
know
question.
about? I wonder. Two-headed humanoid.
In my research, the first time the word Ettin shows up is in an 1800 version of Jack and the Beanstalk.
Hmm.
Here, once Jack has already defeated 2 giants, the king throws him a feast, and then a giant named Thunderdell stomps down from the North Pole to crash the feast and avenge his dead friends. He's described as an Ettin, but of course, Jack kills him too.
Of course.
Wow.
I bet you didn't know there was extended Jack and the Beanstalk lore.
I
Jack
heard
the
'cause
Giant
there was
Slayer?
a whole movie, wasn't there, about Jack and the Beanstalk?
Yeah,
with
Jack the
giants and
Giant
shit?
Slayer, but I'm not sure
Giant
how much of that
giants.
was like, let's read these fucking 200-year-old books, and how much of it was just like, I don't know, man.
Let us
We got the
chronicle
IP.
Jack. His
Yeah.
ability to slay giants.
It's funny.
The word also shows up in an 1889 collection of fairy tales where there's the Red Ettin of Ireland is a 3-headed giant that loves to kidnap Scottish women.
Oh, no.
He also can
Always
turn
a
people
shame.
to stone, and he loves riddles.
Loves riddles.
Very Tolkienian, right?
Yeah.
You could see him just sitting at home, reading a riddle book. He's just asking his 2 other heads riddle.
Yeah, that's an interesting. He's got buddies he can workshop with,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. But they all have the same
He's all like-
experiences. They all, I don't know.
well,
how much-
maybe they're all reading their own book, except for
Maybe.
whichever
Yeah,
head is
they-
stuck
doing like
without the arm.
crosswords. One of them's
Yeah,
doing crosswords.
exactly.
Yeah,
One of them's doing the what's the
Sudoku.
one Sudoku or like whatever.
One's looking this way, the other one's looking this way. One's got a book in front of him, and he's like flipping it with his nose.
Yeah.
He'd sometimes come to them with riddles. He's like, guys, what's black and white and red all over?
Newspaper, psych.
Oh, psych.
It's a zebra covered in jelly.
Oh, it's a penguin. Penguin who just escaped through the organs of a
Yeah.
killer whale.
The first time Ettin shows up in a fantasy context, it is Tolkien, though. Tolkien has a shitty place in the north. It's called the Ettins Moor.
Hmm.
Oh,
Trolls live there.
and I can
Two-headed
imagine
trolls.
how that turns out.
Yeah, well, just regular trolls, because Ettin's a word for giant, right? But like,
Yeah.
I see.
he has the Ettin Moors, and then C.S. Lewis, who is shitty at naming things, stole most of his fantasy names from like actual Central Asian peoples and places.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did like the most blatant copy my homework, just change it up a little I've ever seen. And that him and Tolkien were friends, of course. He has a
course.
place where there are giants. It's also a shitty northern place. He calls it the Ettins Moor, so he just moves the S to the end of the word. Or to the middle of the word.
Fantastic.
And
You
trolls
gotta
and
change
giants
it
live
just a
there
little,
too.
bro, so they don't think we copied each other.
Exactly. Fucker.
He
Lazy.
couldn't have just called it in English or something, you know?
Yeah.
He couldn't have just been all like, I've got a place in the north too. It's really shitty. It's called Giant's Place.
Yeah, or like did it have to have more in the title too? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that's lazy. That's beyond lazy.
Welcome
I'm
to
a C.S.
Largen
Lewis
Land.
hater. I'm a proud C.S. Lewis hater. Come at me.
Yes, yes.
Welcome to Biggerton.
Yeah. That's good. That's fine. His books are kind of comedies. The giants
Yeah.
are little goofballs. That works.
It totally does.
Let's see. But we have, in addition to those, like, where do we get Ettins into fantasy? We have some like real world giant stories for you too.
I got one more. Gigantown.
Golden. Took you 30 seconds, Ryan. You got 2 golden ones. In conclusion, C.S. Lewis sucks. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So, Patagonia, that was a large part of South America.
Yeah.
And we're not sure where that name comes from, but one theory is that it's a Spanish-Portuguese goof-em-up, mistranslation of the name Land of the Giant Feet, because in the 16th century, so many people said that there were giants there.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
There's also a novel from the 16th century where the novel's name is the Primelion, where there are a race of giants that live in a place called Patagonia. So, like, starting with Magellan onward, European explorers kept claiming that in Patagonia there were red-headed giants, and sometimes there were even two-headed giants, which is like, that's an Ettin. There you go.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, done.
And what would European colonialism be without a horrific slave story, right? So Magellan himself claims to have enslaved 2 giants from Patagonia that died en route to Spain, so he had to toss their bodies overboard.
I see. If only.
Yeah.
If only it was true.
So some scientists have said, like, the people they were probably encountering were the, and God, I don't know what language this is, but my pronunciation, I'm doing my best, is the Tehuelche of Patagonia. Like, they would have been pretty tall compared to Europeans at that time, because, like, the average height was shorter. But people in Patagonia would have been eating a lot of protein and a lot of fish, and so living a pretty easy life before the Europeans got there. So they were probably, like where the Europeans were clocking in at 5'2", they were probably closer to 6 feet. So maybe the Europeans thought these dudes were giants.
Maybe.
Europeans are like, damn, these guys are big.
Yeah. Well, it's that meme, right? Like 5'9" is a dwarf and like 6'1" is,
the 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have. I'm going to bury the lead here, but we do have a 12-foot tall, 2-headed giant mummy.
Ooh.
Called Cap Droit.
Ooh.
A mummy, you said?
Yeah.
Like
Let me go ahead and post the image for you.
Like a giant mummy.
Yeah, a giant mummy. Where did that picture go?
That shit's always rad.
Yeah. Well, there he is. That's not the right Discord. I'll have to explain that later. There we go.
Whoops. Whoa. Like, why'd you put a giant mummy? Oh, that thing's cool.
Yeah, so, like, not to, like... I know
spooky.
That's super spooky.
Yeah, so not to, like, ruin the fun that I just created, but, like...
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me start with his sad story. Allegedly, Mr. Capadua here was captured by the Spanish in 1763. He tried to fight back and managed to kill 4 slavers. Snap, snap. Good job.
Nice, nice.
Before being mortally wounded.
Oh.
So his mummy shows up in sideshows starting around the year 1900, and it's still around today.
Wow.
Yay.
So yeah, like, obviously it's fake. Like, look at that.
Yeah, it's stitched together.
You can literally see the stitches in some of these pictures.
Yeah. Nice try.
Close.
Nice try. Yeah, like, this is a P.T. Barnum fakeum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're running out of time, I could spend some time talking about how, like, the human circulatory system won't really work on giants, or, like, there's a lot of reasons why giants don't exist, but this is just clearly fake.
Right. I mean, 200 people exist, but...
Yeah, pretty rare.
Yeah, pretty rare.
Apparently, this was a big hit in the Edwardian freak show circuit in England, which is where it first showed up.
Yeah, people go nuts over this shit.
Yeah, exactly. People used to be way into that shit.
Yeah.
It traded hands a bunch until 1959, when it made its way to Bob's Sideshow, in Baltimore, Maryland, where it's still there to this day. If anybody wants to go see it.
Wow.
Ooh. I mean, it'd be fun to look at.
So yeah, I don't know. What do we learn from this one? What do we pull?
Giants are pretty standard cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there a bunch of stuff going on in the news, or not in the news, but like on TikTok and in the zeitgeist of like supposedly a giant race of people living beneath the earth who like come out of the mountains, and like some footage was captured of one supposedly, and they saw like have you heard about you guys hear about that?
I did, and then the dude who released the footage like died shortly thereafter, so it spawned a conspiracy theory that the Illuminati had silenced him.
Yeah.
Because he was revealing too much of the truth.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, man. It seems pretty fakey-dakey to me.
It all boils down to just blurry pictures.
I know. You know,
look
the
how big
Hedberg
these
joke?
people are.
Yeah, he's standing on a mountain, and it's like, you know, the perspective is like pretty crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm all for and super excited for the proof of actual like mythological creatures living among us, but they're hiding.
yeah.
I'm all for it. If you can prove to me that like lycanthropes or gigants or like fairies have existed all this time.
Yeah. I don't know. There are stories of like folklore, and like there are the series of caves that exist out there in the US and all over the world, I'm sure, like of like a race of people living beneath the earth who like can't really see too well, and they have the power to make people go insane if you if you see them.
That's kind of crazy.
That sounds like Lovecraft to me, but
it does. It does. It sounds like Lovecraft.
We'll return to this when we talk about giants, but I know of at least one story where like there's like I don't want to pre-debunk it. There's at least one story of cannibalistic giants in Native America where there is some scant, probably not true, but like proves that there might be a kernel of truth to the story of like a bunch of red-headed giants living in somewhere in Central North America that were cannibals.
Right. Wow. I remember.
Seems like they weren't giants or redheaded, but they were cannibals.
Yeah. Maybe
one out of three ain't bad.
You know, and the old tradition of, you know, Native American like stories is like, you know, stories get passed on generation to generation.
Yeah.
You know, like these cannibals get conflated into being giants.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's
like, I don't know.
Good old telephone effect.
Yeah, and that's not to be clear, that's not limited to like Native American stuff, but in this one case we know.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Happens
not
every
trying
day.
to do cryptozoology and take a thing that's clearly a legend and like try to use euhemerism to be like, well, clearly what you actually meant was.
I don't know. The caves though, they creep me out.
Yeah, the caves are creepy, man. I know our Shaver Mysteries episode is the last episode at this point, but like one day, like there's a reason the Underdark. We talked about this last episode with the Drow, but like there's a reason all the bad shit is in the Underdark, which is an infinite cave system below the world in most D&D settings. Like caves are scary.
Yeah, it's supposedly the U.S. government knows.
Yeah,
they know that caves are scary, and they have like I don't know, man.
They know that caves exist. Damn it!
I don't want to say something.
I
don't want to accidentally blurt out the story of like. I don't want to actually say something that turns out to be true, and then it gets silenced by the government.
And then
oh fuck, that was real.
You get disappeared.
The government can't even like keep stimulus checks going. You think they're going to find you?
True.
You get burlap sacked, and then you
you
disappear for a while.
Yeah. They replace
you show up again, and for some reason you're trying to sell war bonds.
Yeah, that's a good lead into not our next episode, which will be another live play, but the episode after that, where there's a lot of like super soldiers. So much of it involves like people thinking the government is all powerful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It feels the stories, man. Like the one theory that gets me the most is like there's a secret race of subterranean like superhumans or whatever, not even humans, like monsters that the government knows about and they're in cahoots with and they're sacrificing people to.
Oh yeah, we talked about that on Dolce Base, right? Where it's like
A little bit, yeah.
Is it lizard people? Is it
yeah,
other
men.
kinds of lizard people? Is it
Yeah.
goblins?
yeah.
I don't know. People are just scared about shit that come in from underground because that's scary.
It is.
I mean,
It's super scary.
It's super
I
scary.
mean, you've been to the woods.
Yeah.
It's so funny. My wife and my other friends from Seattle. I'm not native to Seattle. I'm native to LA. They used to make fun of me because I'd see like 20 trees together. And I'm like, that's a forest. Anything could be in there. And they're like, that's nothing. What are you talking about?
That's
That's
trees.
10 trees.
I'm like, Bigfoot could be there. A murderer. And they're like, it's 20 trees, but that's not a forest. But being from LA, I'm like, oh yeah, if there's more than 5 trees in one spot, that's dense.
Yeah.
It's funny because like LA has
I
a
can't
bunch of
see
trees.
the forest through the trees.
Yeah,
I can't see the forest.
literally.
Oh man. Thank you, Chad. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh man, this was a good
Maui
one.
slaps. That's my conclusion.
Yeah.
Maui's
Yeah,
the
for
greatest.
real. For real.
That's the main thing that we can take away from it. Maui
Yeah.
slaps.
Oh yeah.
Quite literally slaps.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So hope everyone's having a happy holiday season. This episode is gonna be this episode is gonna be the second to last one of the year, I believe. I'm not sure completely, but we've got another episode coming out 2 weeks from now, and
And holiday break or something.
a holiday
Yeah.
break. We're gonna release an episode on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and those will be the last episodes of the year. We're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna pick it back up springtime, 2024, baby.
Hey, buy my go to dungeonintheBox.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, if you want to see me fucking put my money where my mouth is and come up with cool combats and cool monsters, go to their wondrous one-shot section. Check out the Evergreen Jubilee. I wrote it with a friend of the podcast, Amy. It is a Humblewood, so little red wall creatures doing saving Christmas. It's cute. It's fun. Go play
That
it.
sounds fun. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's great. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. No plug
Oh, wait,
holes
hold
today.
Thank you, Jesse Sanders, for making our music. Holy shit! I can't believe.
Yeah, my plug cut you off. Thanks, Jesse. Go to our Ko-fi. Check the link tree. I think we have merch still.
Yeah, we do. We totally do.
Yeah. There's some kind of Redbubble out there that
Yeah.
provides t-shirts for you.
Yeah,
With
with
our
our
fun
logo
logo.
on it.
If he
Yeah.
wasn't like part of an active, still existing culture, so I would feel bad about slapping him on a shirt. I do think a Maui slap shirt would rule, but
Hell
I
yeah.
don't want to.
Don't want to appropriate anything.
Or like a thank you, Maui.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to
Thanks,
appropriate
Maui.
anything.
Man.
It'll just be a drawing of us three waving at the sun or something. It's just thanks, Maui.
Coconuts, Pokeballs, the sun on the Hawaiian Islands, with birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Man, you hear that? It's the outro music. Oh man, we gotta get
Yeah,
out of here.
oh my
We
God.
gotta get out of here. See you soon.
Leave us a comment. 5 stars.
5
Say
stars.
hi.
Still
We love
read it if you
you.
need us a 5. Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.